When CFLs first started to become popular, one of the many things that people complained about was the warm-up time. Most CFLs took a few minutes to get up to full brightness, and since we live in a can't wait for anything society, that was a problem. This particular bulb from General Electric is one of the few answers to that problem. This is General Electric's Bright from the Start bulb. This is a fascinating bulb which I discovered after I bought my house. There was one of these installed in the bathroom light fixture, and you can't really tell from looking at it that it's anything spectacular, but I could tell every time I turned the light on in the bathroom that somewhere a couple of minutes after turning it on, something would change about the light, but I couldn't quite tell what it was. Eventually, the bulb failed, and then I figured out what it was. And since it was such an interesting concept, I had to get another one to show it operating on video. So what this is a CFL bulb, but it has within it, I believe it's a halogen lamp. And when you first switch it on, it will run the halogen lamp as the CFL warms up. And then once the CFL tube is warmed and up to full brightness, the halogen lamp will turn off. So you get this bright from the start effect, which is the halogen lamp taking over as the CFL warms up. So it's kind of an interesting way to solve the problem without actually solving the problem, which was a slow startup time of the CFL. So, as with most of these allegedly ecologically sound products, it comes in a package with a ridiculous amount of plastic. And look at all this excessive plastic on there. He's even got this whatever the heck this is here. I have no idea what that is. I guess so it can stand up on the table. My oh my. And then it's got a second flap that goes up here, and all this ink and everything. This is just crazy. The package is kind of ridiculous. So this bulb claims to use only 15 watts, which is somewhat of a lie, because as this is starting up, it probably pulls close to 60. 740 lumens, which is about right for a 60 watt replacement. 7.3 years life. $39 energy savings per bulb. Estimated cost $1.85 per year. Now, of course, the problem with this 7.3 years life is that when we look at the asterisk, which is just a way to say that it's a lie, it says based on 3 hours use per day, but at least if you live in this part of the country, you don't use it for just 3 hours per day. I mean, right now in the winter time and in the fall, it gets dark at 4 o'clock, and so the lights are running from 4 o'clock until midnight. You know, so maybe in the summer it's 3 hours per day, but certainly not all year. So the bulb allegedly lasts 8,000 hours, which of course is going to vary significantly based on the number of times the bulb is turned on and off, as the CFL tubes take the most wear upon startup. And that's probably why the one in the bathroom failed prematurely, because it was not only installed in an enclosed lighting fixture, but it was in a situation where it would experience a lot of short use cycles, which is not good for a fluorescent light. 11 cents per kilowatt hour is actually still relevant. Very recently, the electric prices have started to come down, because it usually follows the price of diesel, which is coming down. And as of the taping of this video, you can obtain electric contracts, albeit they're very short. Most of them are only 6 or 8 months, but you can find electrical contracts from suppliers that will give you electricity for 11 cents per kilowatt. So they're calling this reveal, which is allegedly 2,490 Kelvin, which is just that's actually kind of weird, because incandescent is 2,700, so this is actually allegedly warmer than an incandescent bulb. I thought that the reveal bulbs were a little bit cooler than incandescent. That's bizarre. Comes with a 4-year rather warranty, which I can't imagine anybody would bother to send that in because the shipping cost would exceed the value of the bulb. And it has something about you can't use it near equipment that operates between 0.45 and 30 megahertz. It must output some kind of interference. This probably has a lot of electronics in it. And then here we have this little advertisement there. Brightness booster. Once you see the click. Wouldn't you hear a click? They're calling it a capsule, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna just be a basic halogen bulb. I'm not willing to break open one of these that's in good working order, but I do have that one that was in the bathroom somewhere, and that one I will break that open to see what's inside. I think that would be very interesting to capture on video. So this is a brand new in the box bulb. It's never been opened. I have 2 of these. The other one I'll leave in the package for now. But this one we're going to go ahead and open this up and turn it on. I don't see what that does at all. I do want to preserve the package for this, so we'll try to open this very carefully. So the bulb is pretty heavy, and it has a kind of cloudy, I think it's a glass. It's either glass or very, very hard plastic. I think it's glass coating over it. And you can see that it clearly is a CFL in there. But I can't quite see what else it is that's in there. It's got to be a halogen. We should be able to tell based on the power draw. You can see there's quite a few electronics in there. Of course, we have the ballast for the fluorescence, and then we're going to have some kind of a time delay or whatever on there. Made in China. Ooh, of course. Suitable for damp locations. Do not use with dimmers. Starting current is 700 milliamps. Let's turn this thing on and see how this works. We'll pay careful note to the power draw in the watts. I suspect we'll get somewhere around 60 because the CFL is supposed to draw 15 watts and the halogen equivalent to a 60 watt bulb should draw approximately 43. Okay, it is indeed bright from the start, and we're actually getting 69 watts here with a power factor of 0.97, 0.61 amps, 70 watts. Now it says 45 seconds from now it will change. So right now, I can clearly see that the tube is not glowing at the top. And I tend to think that it's not going to glow for some time. I don't think 45 seconds would be enough to fully illuminate the bulb. I don't think it's LED. I think it's got to be, well, it's definitely not LED based off of the power draw. It's got to be a halogen, I think. Okay, so I could see, I don't know if the camera saw it, but I could see the difference in the light when the, what was called the halogen bulb, turned off. It actually got slightly dimmer, and the power draw has now gone down to 16 watts, 0.21 amps with a power factor of 0.64, 0.68, so it's not a very good ballast in there. And I actually don't like the quality of light that this is outputting. The halogen, of course, was very clean, high color rendering light, and this is almost like, I don't know what. It's a really weird color. It's not warmer than incandescent to me, but it's almost got like a reddish tone to it. It's very odd, and the color rendering, at least to my eyes, is not very good. I'm going to turn off the studio lights here. I'm going to turn the studio lights back on. I'm going to turn this off, and you can see that, hopefully you can see in the camera a difference in the color rendering. Perhaps not, because the camera might have a change in auto white balance, but I don't particularly like the fluorescence output of this bulb. So now let's see if we turn it back on, will it initialize the halogen bulb again, or will it just turn right on to the fluorescent only? It's turned on the halogen again, and it turned it right back off. That's kind of interesting. So that time I saw it click on for a brief second, and then it turned right off. That time was about 1.5 seconds maybe of the halogen bulb. And I'll just do it one more time. This is very bad for the fluorescent tool to keep turning this on and off. That was about a second again. And it does get noticeably dimmer when the halogen turns off, and the light quality and the color rendering totally diminishes. I personally would be more bothered by that change, that abrupt change, as opposed to waiting a minute or two for the light to gradually reach full brightness. There's no flicker or anything like that I can detect, but I just don't like the color of the light. It does not have a good color rendering, and it's a weird, funky color. I would love to know how this thing works. Allegedly, according to the box, it's a 45-second timer, but as we're seeing now, when the bulb is warm, it doesn't stay on for 45 seconds, so it's got to be something a little bit more advanced than just a basic timer. I'm surprised the power factor is so bad. 0.66. That's a very poor power factor for a light bulb. The tube is 100% illuminated now. You can see it glowing in there. Whoa, it's scalding hot already. I guess that should be expected from the halogen. I wonder if the halogen's bulb heating up the ballast would cause these to have a fairly short life. Even though it's only on for 45 seconds, that's still quite a bit of heat right up against the ballast, and clearly it's retaining that heat pretty well. Having the whole thing encapsulated in one piece of glass is also keeping all the heat from the fluorescent tube, which can get pretty hot, and keeping it near the ballast, which is not good, whereas a typical CFL has the ballast enclosed below it, and then the tube is in free air above, and the tube can let most of the heat out into the room as opposed to containing it within the ballast. So this is a very interesting concept and a very clever way to solve this CFL warm-up situation. However, I don't think this is a very good design. I'm not sure I could personally use this. It would annoy me. And I don't think that the CFL itself outputs a very good color of light.